Greetings, fellow Rotarians and guests. My name is Joe Young, and it's my honor to serve as the 2020-2021 President of the Rotary Club of Columbus. Founded in 1915 with our first meeting in February of 1916, our club is one of the oldest and largest within Rotary International. Our membership includes a diverse set of leaders within business, city government, military affairs, healthcare, education, arts and culture, social services, and ministry, all sharing a common desire to improve our community and have a positive impact on the world around us. We started this Rotary Year in the middle of the worst healthcare crisis that the world has seen in over 100 years. The COVID-19 pandemic has dramatically changed the way we live, work, and interact with each other. We've experienced global economic and educational hardship coupled with ongoing political division and social injustice. The world needs Rotary and the ideals that we represent now more than ever. And while these are extremely difficult challenges to overcome, Rotary remains well positioned to be part of the solution. Following the suspension of in-person Rotary meetings for many months, it is so nice for our club to once again have the opportunity to gather in person here at the Trade Center. For those of you that have not yet returned to our in-person lunch meetings, please know that we are saving you a seat and look forward to having you join us again soon. On behalf of my wife Vicki and our daughters Katie and Lynn, I want to thank you for all that you are doing to make our community a better place to live. It's my pleasure to serve alongside you. Now let's get to work. Greetings everyone. Welcome to the May 12th meeting of the Rotary Club of Columbus. It is so great to see all of you in today. We've got some very special guests with us today. We appreciate that. We're going to try something today that we've not done. We're going to have meeting participants in 4 separate countries and 3 separate time zones all at the same time. So hopefully this works out. This will be exciting. We did something like this fully virtual back in the fall, you guys will remember, and so doing it today while all of you are here in the room to be able to witness the conversation, that'll be a lot of fun. We haven't in the last 14 months said the Pledge of Allegiance together as a group. We are now at a point of being fully vaccinated, or 97% vaccinated, and so we feel confident that we can do that now again safely. And so if you will all please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Feels good to be back able to do that again. It's now my pleasure to call on President-elect Lori Alton with today's invocation in accordance to her faith tradition.
Thank you, President Joe. This morning I woke up with a sense of gratitude, and I was really excited to see all of you, and I was especially thankful for our Rotary Club. And so I found this sweet prayer from the Reverend Rick Jones from the Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch up in North Dakota, and I wanted to share it with you. So if you please bow your heads. Lord God, let me never forget all that you do for me on a daily basis. Sustain me with the hope of my salvation and the other countless blessings you provide with your continuous presence in my life. Lead me to live my life in testimony to your incredible blessings, that your love may be known and experienced by all those I serve. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And don't forget the cans, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. It's now my pleasure to call on Dave Ranieri to come up and introduce today's visitors and guests.
Thank you, Joe. Today we have special guests, a very special guest. Of course, we always have special guests, but today we welcome Mary Lagann. She is our district governor-elect for Rotary. So she has stopped by and visited us, and we're very grateful to see you and welcome you. And please give her a warm welcome. She's from Albany and takes office July 1st. Is that correct? All right. So welcome. Thank you very much. I think most of you all know Ken Townsend. Ken Townsend's also visiting us from the Columbus Rotary. Welcome, Ken, and he is the GRSP trustee. So welcome and thank you for coming. And finally, Tom Wainick has brought Meg Baker. Meg is the development coordinator, the new development coordinator for the Pastoral Institute. So welcome, Meg, and thank you for coming. I know y'all give them all a warm welcome. Thank you very much.
Hey, we appreciate it. And Mary, it is so great that you're joining us today. So hopefully we'll get you several more times over the next 12 months. And you're welcome anytime. Come back and see us. I want to call on Adelaide Kirk to come up and talk with us about our recent Star Student winners. Our club has been supporting the Star Student program through the Professional Association of Georgia Educators for many years. And of course, being the pandemic year, having to do things differently, so we're not able to have the students with us, but we still want to recognize them for their efforts. And Adelaide, if you'll talk us through more about the program and our winners.
Sure, thanks, President. We're really excited every year. This is one of my favorite programs, and I really hate that we weren't able to do it with the kids' presence. The Professional Association of Georgia Educators Foundation is who actually sponsors the Star Student and Teacher Awards every year, and they specifically asked that we not do in-person events. So we weren't able to do that. We did go ahead and we did frame their awards like we normally do, and with the help of two other people who work with me every year on this, kind of behind the scenes, Melanie Vineyard and Debbie Caballero, we actually hand-delivered them to the students at their school. So we were able to speak with each one of them and tell them how much that we were, how proud we were of them. And it was interesting to talk to them and kind of hear their stories. Y'all don't get to hear them all, but to hear their stories about what they're doing and what their plans are. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the Page Awards, it's against, the Star Awards. It is administered by the Page Foundation. It was actually started by the Georgia Chamber of Commerce back in 1958. And this year, there were actually 9 schools that had, 8 schools that awarded 9 students. So the Star student for each school and every accredited high school, public or private, in the state of Georgia can have a Star student. And it is based on the kid who has the highest single sitting score of the SAT, and they also have to be in the top 10% of their class with the GPA. And it also must meet or be at or above the national average for the SAT scores for the most recent year. So that's pretty stiff competition. So there were actually a tie again this year. Almost every year for the last 3 or 4 years, we've had ties at these schools, which just shows the quality of the kids that are out there taking it. So 8 schools had Star students this year. And we also, as a club, sponsor the Region Awards. So the Region Awards represents 10 counties of a surrounding area, and the winner from that region then goes on to the state. So what I'm going to do is tell you who our local students winners were, who won from our system, as they call it, so from Muskogee County as a whole, and then who went on to the state awards, which will actually be held next week virtually. So this year, our students were, from Brookstone School, we had 2, they had a tie, were Drew Albright, and he chose as his star teacher, Dr. Jim East, was also John Wang, who chose as his teacher, Mrs. Olga Jenkins. From St. Anne Pacelli, we had Kai Germon-Prez, who chose Miss Holly Queener as his teacher. From Columbus High School, Alex Brown, who chose Miss Alicia Vinson as his teacher. Calvary Christian School was Hannah Taylor, and she chose Mrs. Laura Green as her teacher. Hardaway High School was Brady Hamphill, and he chose Mr. Zachary Schrage, right, as his teacher. Northside High School, Talata Agberry, and he chose Mrs. Monica Colmenares as his teacher. From Shaw High School, Grace Massengale, and she chose Mr. Jordan Hatch. And from Spencer High School, it was Kayla Ivy, and she chose Mr. Clyde Johnson. So those were our Star students for this year. The overall system winner this year was from Columbus High School, so that was Alex Brown and his star teacher, Alicia Vinson. And then from the region itself this year, the winner actually came from LaGrange High School in Troup County, and it is, I'm going to make sure I get it right, Tristan Ziegler and his star teacher, Mr. Aaron Calhoun, and they will compete next week for the state award. So thanks again for y'all's support of this program. And hopefully next year we'll be all good and back to in-person.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
We will make a point to get the full list of the winning students and their associated teachers on our club Facebook page so that everybody can look over that and reach out and congratulate those families. incredible accomplishment. A couple announcements today. We continue to get back more toward normal. You'll notice that we have the flags representing different countries at the head table. I've learned something over the past few months in trying to get things back to where they used to be. I've noticed those flags in the past, and I just thought they were kind of random flags and didn't know really what the significance was. But these are flags that represent countries of students that we have hosted for GRSP in previous years. Over many years, I think we've had, 22 different countries represent, and if you're counting, there's not 22 flags up here right now, but we do have others around, and we made a point every year that as students came into our club, if we already had the flag, we would have them, come in holding the flag to put it in the stand, and if they if that was a country that we had not yet had represented in the past, we would make sure that we get that flag so that we would have it going forward. The stands that the flags sit in were actually constructed by Bubba Gross during his presidential years, 1980, 1981. Bubba's grandson, Rye, is a member of our club, and Rye recently uncovered some old Rotary memorabilia that his grandfather had. We've got these scrapbooks on the back table that shows, those of you that were members of the club back then, that would be really cool to see, pictures of yourself, but a lot of folks that will be familiar to all of us, tremendous community leaders from that time period. And so I encourage each of you to go and check that out. I thank you, Rye, for making that available to us. I told him, I was like, well, that's so great, you'd share it. He said, well, do you want it back? Or we've got a club archive at CSU. He said, it might be safer in the club archive at CSU. Doing that. But please, we want everybody to have an opportunity to look through that, and we appreciate you making that available. We've said this a few times, but the District 6900 celebration is going to be August 13th through 15th. We've already got some folks signed up. If you haven't yet signed up, please do so. We'd love to have you come down there. It's going to be a great time. Mary will be there, and I guess you're coordinating it. I don't know how all that works, but we're looking forward to coming down and celebrating with you. If you are in the room today and you are planning to be back in the room next week, please let us know before you walk out of here. Those of you that are watching online, if you plan to join us back in person, we hope you'll do so. If you'll just let us know, ideally by Friday of this week, so that we can make sure that we've got enough seats and food for everybody. We've got at the head table today, President-elect Lori Alton gave us the invocation. We got Barbara Smith on my far right. She is our Sergeant at Arms and also our GRSP coordinator. And I'm going to call on Ian Bond to come up and introduce today's program.
Thank you, President Joe and District Governor-elect Mary and fellow Rotarians. It is GRSP Day today. So I'd like to ask Jeannette and Catriona and Anna to make sure their cameras are on so you can see them on the screen so that I can introduce them in just a few moments. There they are waving. We don't quite have Jeannette yet, but there she is. There she is. She selected a different background. When we saw her 30 minutes ago, she was in some beautiful Hungarian palace. Now she's in the beautiful Hungarian forest. Let me just say a couple of things before I introduce the girls. Thank you so much, Joe, for giving us the history of the flags. And Barbara and I were just whispering, assuming our incoming student, Geisha from Colombia, is able to make it here, and we're cautiously optimistic, we're going to have to reinstitute club tradition here. And on her very first meeting with us, we need to have her into the room with the Colombian flag and plant it in the flag holder. Let me just reiterate, please plan to be at that district party in Sandestin. It is going to be just so good to get together and listen. The legendary combined Columbus and Buckhead hospitality suite will be in full swing with yours truly as the Columbus bartender. It will be a whole lot of fun. Mary, you will definitely want to make sure you stop by the Columbus Buckhead hospitality suite. The weekend after that, we'll be celebrating the 75th anniversary of GRSP in Thomasville, Georgia, home of founder Will Watt, and we'll be dedicating the GRSP World Peace Plaza right in the heart of downtown Thomasville. 2 weeks after that, this will be the weekend following Labor Day, that's September 10 through 12, we will be hosting, our club, along with Muskogee and North Columbus, will be hosting the GRSP Student Weekend. So pray that we get some students. And the GRSP Powers That Be have decided to name that weekend from now on the Tony Wright Memorial Student Weekend. So we're excited about that. So let me introduce our three speakers today, and they can. I think they can. Can they see the room, or do they just see me? Oh, you poor things. There is a room kind of half full of wonderful Rotarians. You know, we're up to about half capacity now, so we're getting there. But let me introduce our three speakers. In the Hungarian forest, in the bottom right corner, Jeannette Havasi. Jeannette was with us from 2007 to 2008, and Julie and I were her host family. Then in the top right is Catriona Paterson. Catriona's in Scotland. She was with us 2009, 2010, and Robert and Alison Granger were her host family. And in the bottom left corner, Anna Skoglund. She's in Sweden. She was with us 2011, 2012, and of course Tony and Natalie Wright were her host family. So here's how we're going to do this. They're each going to share an update on just what's happening with them, what's happened to them since they left Columbus, and they'll share for a few minutes each, one by one, and then we'll open up for questions and answers. So not only do we want to invite questions from Rotarians here in the room, but also anybody who is watching on the live feed, please post questions, and Joe is reaching for his phone so that he will monitor any questions coming in on the feed. Okay, so I would like to ask if please Anna and Catriona, if you would make sure your video and your microphones are switched off, so you'll disappear off the screen. Okay, and we have Jeannette. Jeannette, it looks like everything is on video and audio. So Jeannette, over to you. Okay, just a moment, Jeannette, with a little problem with the audio. I can hear you on this little monitor we've got up here. The feed isn't coming through on the sound system.
Try it now, Jeannette.
Can you hear me now? My microphone is on.
Yeah, the problem is at our end.
I think we got it now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
Can you hear me? Okay, excellent. Good afternoon for everyone, and I feel greatly honored to be this well. In as a senior business assistant for a real estate company. Since my GRSP year, I have been studying 1 year in China, and it was like five years ago. And I think it was also a good experience to experience the China work, and this had been here, and
Jeannette, sorry to interrupt you. I think we've got a bandwidth issue. Could you switch your video off and just give us audio?
Okay.
I think that might help.
Can you hear me?
Yes?
Okay. During to continue, after I came back to Hungary, I worked at the airport in different positions, like information colleague, and I volunteered also for the airport medical service. I coordinated and helped the people, the disabled people who had the difficulty to check in, check out. So people check to make the. I think I had really good experiences in America, and I'm really happy that Ian and Julie were my host family, and I had the opportunity, and I'm grateful for them that I had the opportunity to participate in great programs like the Rotary meetings, and also I had the opportunity to experience sports events with the opera performances, and I think this experience really added to me as a person and also to my career in tourism, and also I finished my studies as a tourism manager in master's degree, and in the future I'm also planning to continue working as a back office assistant on business administration, and to help on the work. Really,
Jeannette, we're still having difficulty with the audio. So I think what we'll do is we'll loop back to you in the Q&A session. Maybe the bandwidth will have settled down. Folks, we are stretching technology to its absolute limit here at the Rotary Club of Columbus. Jeannette, if you'd go ahead and mute your microphone, switch your microphone off. And Catriona, if you would switch your video microphone on, let's see what the bandwidth is like between here and Scotland.
Can you hear me at the moment?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, give me a wave if things start to break down. Thank you again so much for having me today. It's really nice to be able to join you virtually, and I still have the badge that I used to wear when attending the Rotary meetings that had my name and my status as a GRSP student. So I'm with you in spirit. Since my GRSP year, which is now over 10 years ago, it's hard to believe, I returned to Scotland. I completed a 4-year degree in sustainable development at the University of St Andrews. It was a tiny wee coastal town in the kind of northeast of Scotland. And in that, I was studying everything from post-colonial geographies to behaviour change to corporate social responsibility, natural resource management. And it was very far away from the theatre studies that I did when I was at Columbus State University. I got a job with an NGO, a non-profit called Creative Carbon Scotland, which focuses on the connection between arts and culture and climate change, which is a really big priority for the Scottish Government and the Scottish people. And I started there as an intern, and I'm now the programme lead for our work with the whole cultural sector in Scotland, reporting the director. So I'm very proud of being able to have developed quite a big programme of work through that. I've also done quite a lot of voluntary work outside of my day job, so as well as volunteering with the peace process in Northern Ireland through International Voluntary Service. I spent a bit of time in Cambodia with voluntary service overseas, looking at sustaining economic livelihoods for Indigenous groups at the Cambodia-Vietnam border. And since I've been back in Scotland, I have helped build a charity called 2050 Climate Group, from a kind of volunteer organisation to an official charity that now has staff and 70 volunteers and runs leadership development programmes for young people aged between 18 and 35, so kind of Rotaract age, but focused specifically on climate change. And a lot of the kind of time in Georgia helped me understand the kind of wider perspectives of my work and how I could fit in with a community that I was passionate about. I've also recently started a small business doing sustainable homewares that are inspired by the emblematic Scottish species, which are at risk of extinction, making cushions and comforts in lots of bright colours that kind of keep you happy. I live in Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland, currently about maybe half a mile away from a dormant volcano and beside the Queen's Palace of Holyrood House. I live with my partner in an old tenement building, and I expect to continue to work in the non-profit sector ongoing. I think that message of Rotary service above self has really influenced me. You know, I was 18 when I came to Georgia, and it's really helped me identify what place I want to be in the world. I was thinking about my GRSP year and the kind of few reflections about, actually it's had a very significant impact on my life. You know, I've developed huge friendships with the other Rotary students, with friends in the USA through Columbus State University, to the Rotarians at these meetings. You know, I had obviously my host family of the Grangers, but actually some of these very special people at the top table today, but also many Rotarians, I'm sure, who are sitting in the tables or listening online, who really made my experience, supported me and really helped me understand a completely new culture, and I really appreciate it. I was able to meet some of you again, and including Tony, when I came to visit for the reunion in 2017, which was really exciting, and it was lovely to be able to come back. So I at home I have been able to host. Barbara came when she came and in Edinburgh, but also I've been able to host fellow GRSPs. I was in Sweden last year, met up with other students. I went to Rochelle, who was the North Columbus Club student that year. Went to her wedding in Lebanon, and it's really enabled me to connect with many people across many divides. My partner plays in a band with a former GRSP student, and we only met after the GRSP year. So, yeah, it has really changed my life, and I have all of you to thank for that. So, that's me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Catriona. Okay, Anna, if you would make sure your camera and video and audio are on. Anna.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Also, let me know if things aren't working well, then just wave. But hi, I'm Anna. Thank you so much for having me here. Currently, I work as an IT consultant in Hamburg, Germany. So left Sweden. And since my GRSP year, I came back and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, because I had been studying political science, theater appreciation, and French for some reason. And I started working as an assistant nurse. And then after that, I pursued my degree in engineering. So I studied 5 years, and then I decided to move to Norway, where I worked also as an IT consultant until I fell in love with the city of Hamburg, and I moved there. So I've been living there since March last year, perfect time for the pandemic. Yeah, I think my plans for the future, well, for now on, is continue living in Germany for now, and just really figure out how I can be able to use the network I created and do something for the greater good. Because I think the most important thing that I try to figure out what was the biggest impact that the GRSP year had on me is I found it really hard to narrow it down, because there was so much. I remember I left Georgia where I was just filled with joy and excitement and gratitude, and I was just so happy. And I think it all fits into the feeling very think I'm very loved and very cared for by a bunch of people I didn't know from the beginning, but you took me in and you took us all in and you gave us an amazing experience in a country that we didn't really know from the beginning. And that left me completely amazed. And also in my life now, and I try to like figure out a way in how I can be able to give this back. And that was it. Thank you very much.
All right. If Jeannette and Catriona, if you switch on your video and microphone again, and we'll just keep our fingers crossed that the technology will work, and we will open up for Q&A. Any questions from the floor here, I'll repeat just to make sure that, that the alumni hear them. And then Joe monitoring. So that was interesting. Okay, I'll have to keep turning the microphone back and forward. Okay, so anyone like to kick off with a question?
How did it say again? So the cities are in Edinburgh, Hamburg, and which city is Jeannette?
You're which city are you in, Jeannette?
Budapest.
Budapest.
In Hungary.
Okay, so Budapest, Hungary, and Edinburgh. Budapest is in Hungary. Hamburg. I'm hungry for a Hamburg. Yeah, that deserved a groan. All right, anybody have a question? Yeah, Dick. Okay, would each of you comment on the effects of the pandemic where you're located? Okay.
I can go first.
Yep.
That's okay. Yes.
Yeah.
It was the emergence and Zsanett and lucky enough, I'm not yet
Oh, the whole thing's died. You know what? It may be our little gizmo here on the platform that's doing it. All right, Anna.
You're muted. Here. Anna, can you hear? Go ahead and tell us the impact of the pandemic on you.
Hi. And me. Hello. You hear me?
Well, I think we are stretching technology like an elastic band here.
See, they're muted.
Yeah, Anna, you're muted at the moment. Okay, go ahead again.
Then can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, yeah, I think the pandemic just hit Germany pretty hard. So we've been in different stages of lockdown for the past year, but things are starting to opening up now. And then, yeah, going from curfews to actually like being able to go outside again in the evenings. Vaccination is up and running, so hopefully we'll be ready and done by August this year.
Okay, Jeannette, would you unmute? Tell us about the impact in Hungary.
The situation is similar as the two other girls mentioned. So we had lockdown since 2020 March, and we have about a certain percentage of the population vaccinated. So I'm also going to be vaccinated at the end of May. So we are starting to open the restaurants, and but it also hit Hungary pretty hard. So we had lockdown, and also it was really hard on the job market as well. But things starting to get better. We have more people and people vaccinate down.
Okay, if you'd mute yourself, Jeannette, that might help. Okay, Catriona, you again.
Well, I was just going to say, in Scotland, as of Monday, we're allowed to hug family members again, which is really exciting. So I'm going to go and see my parents and be able to kind of spend more time with them. Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay, another question. Yeah, Jane. Correct. Okay, this is a question for Anna, and Jay is asking, how did it work out and affect you moving to a new country and a new city exactly as the pandemic and the lockdown hit?
Yeah, good question. I think that was really tough, to be honest, because like I was expecting something completely different, and then the lockdown hit like 2 weeks after I moved there. Luckily, I had a really strong network of colleagues that I already knew since before, but also the fact that I shared an apartment with one of my friends, so we kind of survived the lockdown together.
Okay, I think we've got time maybe for one more question. Okay, well, this is a question we always like to ask GRSP students. As you think back to your time in Georgia, and we'll go through you one by one, starting with Jeannette, what is your favorite Georgia Southern food that you most miss? Jeannette. You have to unmute. There you go.
I would mention that chocolate cake at the Rotary meetings. I really like that cake.
Chocolate cake. Chef Chris, are you hearing this? Chocolate cake. That's what they like. Okay, Catriona.
Mine's a toss-up. The chocolate cake is a good one as well. But so whilst in Georgia, it was Popeye's chicken strips. I ate them for like 3 times a day. But when I went back to visit, the bit I really liked the most was a low country boil. It's a great food. You can't get it in Scotland.
All right, Anna.
I mean, it's not a dish, but I really miss the sweet tea. Remember that during that crust?
Well, Anna, I really would have thought you would have said a Dinglewood scrambled dog, because I know Tony made you eat at least one scrambled dog. All right, I'm going to ask you 3 ladies if you would keep your video switch on, because after Joe dismisses the meeting, we're going to have District Governor-elect Mary come up and join us. We're going to take a photograph. It'll look like just the 3 of us, but it'll actually be a photograph of all of us together. So please give a big thank you to our 3 alumni.
Ladies, thank you so much for speaking with us today. You can't see the room, but everybody's smiling ear to ear. It's so great to hear updates from you guys, to hear you successful in overcoming these challenging times, that we're all dealing with. Where it's interesting to hear the progress of vaccine distributions. I mean, to hear that you've gone over a year without being able to interact with your family. It's just really, really, heartbreaking, but exciting that you get to experience that now, though, to be able with them. And we're counting our blessings that we're able to be with the ones we love, that we're able to be gathered in this room together, having all now had an opportunity to get vaccinated. And so we we wish you and your folks in the cities that you occupy, your families, all the best. It's our custom as a club to honor our speakers by donating a children's book to our local Columbus library, and we're happy to donate a book that'll be inscribed with your names, and hopefully you'll have an opportunity to come back and see us, sometime soon, and we look forward to interacting with you again. But thank you so much for making yourselves available for this being possible. We appreciate the technology. I want to thank again our past president Ryan Clements for helping us figure out how to do all of this. Certainly it would not be possible without him. But you guys have a lovely evening. I know it's dinner time where you're located, so enjoy your dinner and have a wonderful night. For the rest of you guys in the room, we will have a replay of today's meeting immediately following, shortly following the live broadcast on our club Facebook page, and then a link for YouTube will come out from the office later on. Again, I'll remind you, if you're in the room and you're planning to be in the room again next week, please let us know before you leave. Those of you watching online, we'd love to have you come join us next week. Our program next week is going to be Jason Ritter. Jason is the site coordinator for the vaccine distribution at the Civic Center, coordinated through GMA. So that'll be an exciting presentation talking about what all logistics they've had to work out to make sure that we're all vaccinated and safe. So appreciate all you guys so much. Go out, love others, serve others above yourself. Let's get to work.